Thank you, Senator Shumate, and thanks to the members of the committee. I'm Michael Keaton. I represent the 25th from Puyallup and the surrounding areas, and I'm glad that you're here to listen to my little freshman bill. I think it's a good one. I will start by answering the senator's question and then some prepared remarks. We made sure that this one aligns directly with the AI task force. As a matter of fact, I was talking to the Attorney General's office yesterday, and we'll continue to stay in alignment with it. Part of the language within the bill is the previous language that was set up by the AI task force with some of those protections that you were looking for. So I will, since I'm not AI enabled, I will read for efficiency. So after hearing of a Japanese company investing $500 billion in America for AI development, I thought, you know, Washington State should not settle for 1/50th of that share. There's over $1 trillion being invested in AI. AI requires leading-edge data centers, and we have two of the world's biggest developers of data centers right here in our state. Washington is also at the forefront of clean, small, modular nuclear energy. This isn't your grandpa's nuclear energy. This is a lot safer, a lot smaller. Reactors would fit in this room, and it's going to be required to really drive that technology. Matter of fact, we're at the doorstep of new technology that can even recycle old waste and extract key isotopes that can be used for medical advances. We have the expertise, the resources, and the innovation to be the national AI leader here in Washington. Washington should be securing at least 10%. At least 10%, $100 billion of economic development. And SHB 1833, the Spark Act, paves the way through a private-public partnership grant program designed to attract AI investment. The House budget has a $250,000 line item for the Commerce Department to establish the program. And AI is going to be the next industrial revolution, and we have a unique opportunity to lead it, creating high-paying jobs across the state, strengthening our economy, and addressing future revenue challenges through massive growth. I can imagine a period where we'll be able to find wildfires basically at the start to help pre-position things to make sure that wildfires aren't problems for our state in the future. We'll be able to, I can imagine a time where we can cut off a cyber attack before it actually hits our infrastructure by having AI enable that. But most importantly, I think our healthcare, and we've seen the costs of healthcare spiraling, AI-enabled doctors to become more efficient and to be able to develop things and like to eradicate cancer. There's so much possibility with AI if we do it properly. So now is the time to invest while the return on investment is highest. So let's pass the Spark Act and ignite a future of economic development and innovation.
I have a question. Is the idea of the grantees to go to public or private businesses?
It's set up to be a private-public partnership. The initial money there is so that the Commerce Department can initiate the grant and get the program established. That's why the amount is where it's at. But there's so much federal money that's going to grants where the federal government's talking about making us the leader in AI in the world, and we need to stay on the leading edge of that. We have too much of the technology here. We have around our in Eastern Washington, I've been attending some of the nuclear caucus meetings and the small modular nuclear power that will be required to really drive this. And Microsoft and Amazon are the two leading developers of these data centers that can be required to make that technology work. We have the expertise in Washington State, and we're missing a huge economic development boon because these monies are going to be pouring into the state. But it's also set up for private investment as well, so that you can work with business to try to make sure that we do it across the board.
So if I had an idea then to, like, I don't know, what's something, make bike lanes safer using AI. I don't know how that works. But it would be like my private organization, that would be someone that I could work with the state, and then they would have a portion. Is that the idea?
Yeah, you're set up with a board,
okay.
and it actually matches the AI task force, and then there's some selection of members of the Senate, members of the House, to be able to work together to figure out how to spend the money appropriately that we receive into the grant program. But it's really to go after those federal dollars, bring them into the state, tie it to the technology experts that we have in Washington already, and make it work. I'd like to really solve all those problems and bring big economic development to the state that could actually solve a lot of our budget issues at the same time.
Okay. Thanks. I don't see any more questions, so thank you.